Hi, this is Dr. James Pike for LDR330. We're in week 7, and we're covering chapter 14 of Effective Leadership by Ronald Humphrey, and this chapter is entitled Transactional Leadership and Goal Setting. We begin with transactional leadership, and that is the use of contingent rewards, whether they be intrinsic bonuses and pay increases, time off. Contingent rewards are metered out for meeting goals. If you meet this by a certain deadline, then you receive a pay raise. There are types of transactional leaders. The first type being management by exception, an active leader. And this person is very hands-on, just on the outside of micromanaging, if not micromanaging. And then there is management by exception, and they're passive. They wait until problems manifest before they do anything. So you have two opposite ends of the spectrum, and you kind of want to be somewhere in the middle, if not more towards the active leader. Contingent rewards improve individual performance, team performance, organizational performance, followers' job satisfaction, followers' satisfaction with their leaders and their leaders' effectiveness, as well as the followers' motivation levels. Goal setting. Leaders must set goals. The book gives a citation of over 1,000 studies that were implemented in that leaders that set goals were effective, leaders that didn't set goals were ineffective. Goals must be specific and cannot be vague. They are set about to produce desired results. Secondly, goals must be attainable. Difficult but attainable produces results. When set too high, performance decreases. The people think, I can never do this, so why should I even try? If you set intermittent goals where people meet milestones, specific milestones when moving towards a larger goal, it's very important. And I'll talk more about it later on in the lecture. Goal commitment. High goal difficulty impacts commitment negatively. And that's what we were just talking about. If the goal is set too high, people think that they cannot rise to the occasion. Reward expectation improves employee or subordinate stick-to-itiveness. And that is a compiled word that means basically commitment, their ability to endure a hardship to take you to the desired goal. High goal setters tend to be conscientious. They're willing to work hard to meet the goals. They have an openness to experience. These people are looking for the next hill to climb. They're looking for the difficulties to overcome. A lot of these people can be extroverts. They're show-offs that are striving for success and power. And you remember the chapter on power. Low goal setters exhibit neuroses, and they have a low self-opinion. And what that results in is they set low goals that they think that they can attain with their low opinion of themselves. It's kind of a biting cycle. They tend to be agreeable in that they're easygoing people and they'll set low goals. And that yields low expectations. There's a saying, if you ever go to a shooting range, you aim high, you shoot high. You aim low, you shoot low. And I found that to be true with life as well. The book also states that emotionally stable persons set higher goals by and large. Goal-focused coaches they have to master 5 key skills. Leaders need to have goal-setting skills, first of all, be able to teach both short-term and long-term goal attainment, be solution-focused, empowering others to be solution creative, manage the process and demand accountability from others, and obtain outcomes that are valued and meaningful to the entire organization. Goal orientation. Learning goal orientation is described as people that are willing to try challenging tasks and take the time to master those tasks. Performance goal orientation is described as more emphasis is placed on the end of the process rather than learning the process. And most people have heard the adage, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. It's about the learning, not the degree. Prove goal orientation is where people demonstrate competence to others by achieving goals. Look, see, I did it, so I can move up the organizational ladder. Now, being a reflective practitioner, I did review the midterm course evaluations, and I saw that people wanted a little bit more than what was exhibited in the text itself, and so I want to expand on that a little bit. And I wanted to tell you about my own experience. So if we're goal setting, I want to talk to you about the doctoral journey. And in going through the doctoral journey, there were several phasic steps that we had to go through to write a dissertation. The dissertation is composed of 5 chapters, and getting there requires quite a bit of work. You don't just write 216 pages overnight. And 216 pages isn't a lot, but when you understand that there were probably 40 some odd iterations of that same 216 papers, because they're subjected to a panel of expert peer reviewers, to the institutional review board, first of all, to see if it can pass muster to move forward to be academically germane. That process required a rigor, a commitment in moving forward. And in speaking to you about goals, I wanted to talk to you about tools for goals. Now, we set timelines, so there's an academic calendar that comes out where students have to understand that they have these courses due during this span of dates. But how you keep track of that is very important. And it's the same thing in the business world. You must keep track of dates and times. And timelines are crucial for any large project. At the onset of my dissertation, I knew I wanted to be finished by a certain date, and that when I exceeded timelines for a specific chapter, or for my study, or for my actual analysis of data, then I knew that my timeline for graduation would be pushed off. And if I didn't meet those goals, then I wouldn't be able to finish when I desired to. So in keeping this, I kept both a physical and virtual set of timelines for myself. And in those, there were small goals during the entire process. And I can tell you, if you go on to graduate school, you will be required to either and or both write a thesis for a master's degree, or complete comprehensive examinations, or do both. And I had to do both. And I can tell you that the only way that got done was one step at a time. They'll tell you in the dissertation, when you're being prompted to complete that you can't eat an elephant in one bite. You have to do it one bite at a time. So for the vegetarian students, you can't eat a cactus in a single bite. You have to eat it one bite at a time. So I can tell you that I kept both physical and virtual reminders of those timelines to be able to keep myself on track and to meet the goals that I set out for myself. And some examples of the physical were calendars, mind maps. I had a whiteboard with specific dates on it. Those things got crossed off. They didn't always work, but when I was on time with meeting the spreadsheets and receiving the email Outlook reminders that came through, we had a system of rewards. So you finish a chapter within this time, you receive a reward. And the culmination of everything, finished dissertation, I finally walked, I got my very colorful regalia that I walked across the stage in, came back, was able to finally relax when it was all over and I was able to put down the books and start boxing everything up. It was time for us to go to the Grand Canyon. And that was our reward. So this whole process that I'm talking to you about is it's not just theoretical. It has its place in your life as well as in, the book in theory or the organization that you work for or whatever you're trying to apply these concepts to. They have a real and germane part of your life if you put them into practice. Speaking of which, putting it into practice, pages 396 and 397. So we have 14 key takeaways, and I'll go over them with you now. Number 1, pound out the rhythm of success. Plan, plan, plan. 2, taking care of business. Use transactional leadership and goal setting to help you manage all the details and work the tasks that come your way. 3, use transactional leadership. Use contingent rewards to set up clear expectations for performance. Specify what should be done and reward employees based on their meeting goals and expectations. 4, rewards work. Use contingent rewards to boost your followers' job performance, their job satisfaction, their satisfaction with your leadership, and your own leader performance. 5, set specific, difficult, attainable, and acceptable goals. 6, build goal commitment. Reward goal accomplishment and make goals intrinsically attractive to followers. This is especially important when goal difficulty is high. 7, select high goal setters, those on extroversion, openness, and conscientiousness. 8, be a coach. Effective goal-focused coaching requires effective goal-setting skills, the development of a strong working alliance, a solution-focused approach, managing process and accountability, and obtaining outcomes that are valued and meaningful. 9, know your true desires. You'll be more motivated and successful when your goals reflect your true desires. 10, stretch your followers' creativity. Use stretch goals to stimulate creativity, stir your followers' blood, and inspire them, and get them to make big plans. 11, set learning goals. Boost your followers' performance and help them overcome proving and avoiding orientations by instructing them to learn all that they can about work tasks. 12, have the courage to fail 1,000 times. It's the only way to learn new skills. I agree with 12 completely. Any trainee that I've ever been given, I've told them we have to go out and break stuff before we can figure it out. 13, split the profits. The more they make, the more you make. Be friendly and considerate too. 14, Brew strong goals by following your passions and learning all you can about your product, by dreaming big, and by focusing your goals on meeting your employees' and customers' needs. And that is the end of Chapter 14. I have to tell you, students, I'm very proud of the efforts that you've been turning in. Your assignments have been timely, they've been wonderfully written, and I think that you all should consider pursuing higher education and looking towards the future with some sort of graduate studies if you so desire. The ability is there. Anyway, thank you. God bless, and you have a fantastic week.